I have been thinking about the optimization problem of political system. I believe that a completely new political system is achievable, it's just that our thinking has not broken out of the established framework. Of course, many classmates and friends must have great doubts, for example, how the national leaders and the state apparatus, the legal judiciary, and the management level are realized, etc. Here, I will roughly refine my idea. 1. Let's start with the medical system. If the medical reform is designed according to my plan, it will be as follows. At the beginning, everyone enjoys the same medical insurance. This is the most basic medical insurance, unless you have a serious illness. You can go to the hospital for treatment, otherwise, you cannot go to the hospital for treatment without medical insurance. Rich people cannot buy medical insurance even if they have money, because the hospital will not let you in without a medical insurance card. Do you have enough money to hire a private doctor? Yes, but you cannot use public healthcare or hospital facilities. So, under what circumstances are you allowed to have medical insurance? It depends on each person's contribution. If a worker's daily output is 5% more than others, he will be allowed to enjoy 5% more medical insurance than others. An engineer, a teacher, or a financial analyst can similarly be given medical insurance based on his average daily performance. If his performance is average, there will be no additional health insurance. He can only enjoy the most basic health insurance. Of course, the elderly, the weak, the sick, and the disabled are exceptions. The elderly, the weak, the sick, and the disabled can enjoy the most basic health insurance plus the lowest level of additional health insurance. Other matters, such as salary, housing, and vehicle use, will all be handled accordingly. Those with above average performance will enjoy a salary, housing area, etc., that is 5% higher than that of ordinary people. Based on performance, there will be a step-by-step progression. This originally belonged to a somewhat utopian communist proposal, but I am simply implementing it in advance in a capitalist society. Of course, this is only a verbal implementation. Point 2. Under this system, if a job requires multiple people to collaborate, how will scoring be handled? As mentioned earlier, the basic concept of this system is to allocate individual needs based on personal performance scores. This is not simply distribution according to labor. When someone needs help from others due to job or technical requirements, those who provide help will receive extra points. Conversely, those who seek help will receive a reasonable reduction in points because it is fair. When you get help from others, your performance improves.
However, you are utilizing the labor of others. This policy also promotes a culture of helping in the workplace since it leads to more points for everyone. This way, social productivity can be significantly enhanced. However, those seeking help should think carefully before making requests. It is best to complete their own work independently, otherwise, they will lose points. Point 3. How does this system encourage innovation and inventiveness? Every industry will hold an innovation competition once a month. Anyone has the right to submit their innovative products for evaluation at the conference. The judges at the competition will consist of 10 authorities from the industry and 1,000 practitioners from the industry. At the competition, if you are the inventor of a new product, you will present your results with a large screen explanation and product demonstration. During scoring, the scores from the 10 authorities will account for 50%, and the score from the 1,000 industry practitioners, total average score, will also account for 50%. The final score will be added to your annual average score. Therefore, the higher your score from the innovation conference, or the more times you participate, the higher your score will be. The health insurance, salary, housing, and other benefits you receive will be greater. This innovation conference is not limited to the technical field. Other areas such as social sciences and cultural arts can also be included. But the scoring criteria may differ. For, under this system, how are national leaders chosen? National leaders will be those who score the highest in the nation. Other deputy positions will be arranged in descending order of score. If the above item 3 is successfully held, we can foresee that national leaders will emerge from those who can innovate best. Of course, if there is an individual whose innovation ability is lacking, but whose work energy and achievements allow them to score highly, they can also be nominated as a national leader. In short, this is a brand new political system. It does not have the shortcomings of current autocratic and democratic systems. nor is there an ideological struggle over political concepts. Its motivation is all about, how do you surpass others in ability? 5. Individuals are still required to pay income tax proportionate to their earnings. The tax revenue will support national expenditures. Some friends may say, if a hairdresser just happens to score first in innovation, they cannot manage the country, as they have no management expertise. This is a misunderstanding of the responsibilities of national leadership. Former U.S. President Carter was a peanut farmer with no national management experience, yet did these hinder him from becoming the highest leaders of the country? No. Because they had management experts under them, it is completely unnecessary for them to handle every detail personally. They just need to know how to use people wisely and delegate complex management tasks to their subordinates. Some may point out that this system cannot prevent a person of poor character from entering the highest levels of national leadership. Yes, this is indeed an important aspect of the issue. This paper will explore this problem and propose solutions. The brand new socio-political system will consist of two parts: the innovation scoring system and the social morality system. The innovation scoring system will determine who is likely to obtain various leadership positions, while the social morality system will determine who is disqualified from certain leadership roles. The social morality system itself is also a scoring system. The highest score is 100 points, and the lowest score is -100 points. Every citizen, upon birth, is given two devices. One is a score receiver similar to a chip, and the other is a remote button resembling a garage door opener. Each person, when they leave home, must carry these two devices. The score receiver can be placed in a pocket of clothing or hang on the chest, while the remote button can be kept in a pocket. When a person goes out, in public, any other person can use their own remote button within a 50-meter range to add or subtract 1 point from your social morality score. You can do the same to others. The scores achieved are recorded by the score receiver you wear on your chest and logged into the computer of the social morality system. The score of the social morality system directly affects your daily life. When a person is born, their score is 50 points. 50 points indicate that they can access most public services, entertainment, tourism, malls, and other places like a normal person today. However, they cannot enter areas protected by national security, military areas, and any other regions that are banned by other countries. If the score is below 50 points, they cannot access many typical public services, entertainment, tourism, malls, etc., and can only go to designated places and stores for services. The goods and services offered in stores for those below 50 points are generally of lower quality. For example, if a person's score in the social morality system is 39 points, one day, he goes to the movies with a few friends. However, upon arriving at the cinema entrance, the monitoring device of the social morality system detects his score as 39 points, and the automatic door at the cinema will not open for him. He cannot enter. All other stores and public services, entertainment, tourism, malls, etc., either have this type of monitoring device or armed security personnel to prohibit entry for those with inadequate scores. For instance, someone is a senior designer at a company and needs to attend an international conference in another country, but due to personal reasons, such as traffic congestion, she arrived at the airport after boarding time and cannot board her flight. After negotiating with the airport receptionist, she can only wait for the next flight. Yet, being accustomed to arrogance, she can't handle the frustration, lose her patience, and start angrily cursing at the airport staff. Consequently, all the airport service personnel on duty used their social morality system remote controls to deduct points from her. Some other passengers at the airport also deducted points from her, resulting in her score dropping from over 60 points to below 30 points. In this case, even if she waited for the next flight, she would still be unable to board because her score of below 30 points does not permit her to fly on any airline until her social morality system score rises above 50 points. A person's score in the social morality system can be deducted, as in the example above, but it can also be increased. If a person often does good deeds in public, such as voluntarily cleaning in a community or helping the elderly and disabled cross the street at traffic intersections, etc., those whom they have served, or even bystanders who like how they act, may likely give them additional points. Therefore, even if a person's score drops below 50 due to poor behavior, there is still a great chance for the score to recover, as long as they behave well in public and receive appreciation from others, who will then add to their points.
Here are a few points to note. 1. Each person can give points or deduct points from another person only once a year. The total number of points a person can add or deduct from others cannot exceed 20 points. However, this resets every year. This prevents someone from holding a grudge against another and deducting 20 points at once. Of course, if you deduct 1 point from someone and they retaliate by deducting a point from you, it just leads to mutual loss. Point 2. Relatives cannot give or deduct points. The remote control, authority, is ineffective in this case. Superiors in the same workplace cannot allow subordinates to add or deduct points. The remote control is also ineffective here. However, colleagues of the same level can interact freely in this regard. Point 3. A person with many friends and good social connections appears to benefit more as their numerous friends can give them points. However, that person only has 20 points. If they wish to return the favor, their points may not be enough. It seems a gang leader can have their underlings add points for them, but this is restricted in point 4 below. Point 4. If a person has a criminal record, their score in the social morality system is below 0, in the negative range. A person with negative points cannot give or deduct points from others. Once a person is convicted and imprisoned, their score immediately becomes negative, depending on the severity of their crime. For example, a first-degree murderer usually has a social morality score of negative 100 points. After a criminal is released from prison, they can do social moral activities and charity work, but it depends on public perception of them, as the right to score lies with others. Point 5. Individuals with a score below 0 can still live like normal people as long as they are not serving their sentence. However, as mentioned earlier, the public places they can available to them are very limited, and the stores that serve them offer only basic necessities. 6. For a person to enter any leadership position in any class, their score in the social morality system must be above 50 points. Lastly, this brand new political system is under the intellectual property rights of Brother Zhang.
Dear friends, this short video of Blood Zhang has ended. Blood Zhang will present another film with a completely different theme. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave. Thank you everyone.